Hi everybody, we're going to today take a quick dash through the major verb tenses in English and look at some examples of each one. So we're reviewing the basics of English grammar, and so let's start off by looking at a simple sentence. Alessandra works at Barilla. What tense is this? It's present simple. We use present simple when we want to express a fact. This is a fact about Alessandra. It is her job. She works at Barilla. There's no reference to when she started her work, and there's no sense of when it will end in the future. It is a general fact about Alessandra. Leonardo. Leonardo is a good Italian boy. He has lunch with his grandmother every Sunday. This is again present simple. This is again expressing a fact about Leonardo. Something that we consider a special type of fact. It is a habit. Alessandra doesn't work at Barilla. What tense is this? Again, it's present simple, it's a fact, and it's a negative fact. Alessandra doesn't work at Barilla. This is a contraction of Alessandra does not work at Barilla. Now, almost always, except when we want to emphasize something, we will contract the negatives in English. So instead of saying Alessandra does not work at Barilla, we'll tend to say Alessandra doesn't work at Barilla. Does Alessandra work at Barilla? What tense is this? Again, it's present simple. And what is it? It is a question and a question about a fact. Does Alessandra work at Barilla? Yes, she does. Does Alessandra work at Barilla? No, she doesn't. So that's the question and the short answer. The short answer will repeat the auxiliary verb in place of the rest of the sentence. Leonardo doesn't have lunch with his grandmother every Sunday. Negative form. Does Leonardo have lunch with his grandmother every Sunday? Question form. Now, one thing to look at. In English, there are some verbs which are always used in the present simple. These are verbs like to want, to need, to like, to love, to hate, to think, to believe, to imagine. These are what we call in English stative verbs. And they express essentially a state of being, something that is an emotion, a desire, a need, a want. Or when we think about state, we very commonly will use the verb to be. Leonardo loves his grandmother. Alessandra wants to work at Barilla. Now let's look at our next verb tense. Stefano is taking notes on Fraser's lecture. Do you know what tense this is? This is present continuous. This is what we use when we want to express an action in the present moment. Stefano is not taking notes on Fraser's lecture. This is the negative form, and remember, in the negative form we will typically contract. So Stefano isn't taking notes on Fraser's lecture. Question form. Is Stefano taking notes on Fraser's lecture? Now this introduces an idea that's very important for understanding English, is that almost always questions will be indicated by a form of inversion from a positive statement or a negative statement to a question form. Let's look at another sentence. I'm reading a good book. What verb tense is this? It's also present continuous. But is this the same situation where I'm talking about an action in this present moment? After all, I am teaching you English right now. But we use present continuous to talk about something which is temporary. It has a beginning and an end, and at the moment being referred to is between the start and the finish of the action. Okay, let's look at a new tense. Bianca called the supplier this morning. What tense is this? This is the past simple. What do we use the past simple for? We use the past simple to talk about a single completed action at a definite past time. That seems like a lot of rules, but I want to show you that all of those are in fact necessary, because if you break any one of those rules, you will change and not use the past simple. Did you call the supplier this morning? This is the past simple, so this is a question regarding a single completed action at a definite past time. This morning is definite. It's definite in the past. He didn't go to work yesterday because he had a cold. And just like we saw in the past simple, when we're making the negative, we use the auxiliary verb do. We're going to put it into the past tense. The past simple of do is did. He did not go to work yesterday because he had a cold. This is a negative statement regarding a single completed action at a definite past time, yesterday. Now, let's look at something different. A question. Have you called the supplier? What tense is this? Some of you may remember that this is the present perfect. Now, look at how we're going to use this. In this case, have you called the supplier? This is a question regarding an action at an indefinite past time. We don't say yesterday. The response, no, I haven't called the supplier yet. This is present perfect, making a negative statement regarding an action at an indefinite past time. Yes, I have called the supplier 3 times. This is present perfect. This refers to multiple actions at indefinite past times. In contrast, that person could say, yes, I called the supplier 10 minutes ago. This is now past simple. It's a single action at a definite past time. Another use of present perfect. Ilaria has worked at Chiesi since 2003. This is present perfect. It is an incomplete action. It's an incomplete action because it began in the past and continues to the present moment. It has not finished, so it connects to the present. Another example. Antonio has just finished the report. This is present perfect. In this case, it is a completed action because Antonio has finished the report. It connects to the present because we're saying that it just happened, meaning recently, but it is indefinite. Antonio was finishing the report when I called him. What tense is this? This is different. This is past continuous. Past continuous is going to reflect many of those same rules that we saw when we were talking about present continuous. So, This is a temporary action in the past that was in progress when something else happened. This could also be demarcated by a specific time in the middle of something else that was in progress. Okay, so this has all been very fast, I know, but it's a quick review of the basic tenses that you should feel comfortable using. There will be separate in-depth reviews of the different tenses that you should look at if you're unsure about anything, and there's a ton of stuff on this on our Pinterest. So it's pinterest.com/unblockyourenglish. If you have not joined Pinterest yet, it's very easy. You can just use your Gmail or Facebook login to get in, and then go to Unblock Your English with Karen and Fraser and follow our boards, and you'll find a ton of material and you'll see what new materials we're putting up on a daily basis. All right,